There may have been a time when the most complicated computations people needed to do could be performed on their fingers and toes, but these days, it's all but impossible for many people to imagine doing anything involving numbers, from math homework to tax returns to computing your own expenses without the help of at least a basic calculator. Over the years, the functionality and the design of the calculator have evolved over time. In fact, in this video, you will learn about the evolution of the calculator and those people behind the invention of this device. Let's start with the definition of the calculator. A calculator is a device that performs arithmetic operations on numbers. The simplest calculators can do only addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. More sophisticated calculators can handle exponential operations, roots, logarithm, trigonometric function, and hyperbolic function. Let's now head on to the evolution of today's calculator. The abacus is the most ancient calculating device. It has endured over time and is still in use in some countries. It is still unknown who built the first abacus and when it was built. There is evidence of the abacus used in the Mesopotamia going back as early as 2700 BC for use of their sexagesimal numbering system. The abacus was also used in other early civilizations including the Chinese, Egyptian, Greek, Persian, and Roman civilizations. There is evidence that people were using abacuses in ancient Rome. An abacus consists of a wooden frame, rods, and beads. Each rod represents a different place value, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. Each bead represents a number, usually 1 or 5, and can be moved along the rods. Addition and subtraction can easily be performed by moving beads along the wires of the abacus. In 1623, the first adding machine was invented. It is the calculating clock by Wilhelm Skicard. Wilhelm Skicard was credited with inventing the first adding machine after Dr. Franz Hammer, a biographer of Johannes Kepler, claimed that drawings of the calculating clock was been discovered in 2 letters written by Skicard to Johannes Kepler in 1623 and 1624. Prior to the discovery, Blaise Pascal, who developed the Pascaline adding machine in 1642, was regarded as the first inventor of the first adding machine. The machine could add and subtract 6-digit numbers and indicated an overflow of this capacity by ringing a bell. To add more complex calculations, a set of Napier's bones were mounted on it. Skicard's letter mentioned that the original machine was destroyed in a fire while still incomplete. The designs were lost until the 19th century. A working replica was first constructed in 1960. Mr. Bruno Freytag-Loringhoff, professor of philosophy at the University of Tübingen, created the first replica of the Skicard's machine. Step reckoner is a calculating machine designed in 1671 and built in 1673 by the German mathematician-philosopher Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz. The step reckoner expanded to the French mathematician-philosopher Blaise Pascal's idea and did multiplication by repeated addition and shifting. He discovered also that computing processes can be done much easier with a binary number coding. He decided to improve in order to be possible to not only addition, subtraction. He decided to improve in order to be possible to make not only addition and subtraction, but also multiplication and division. The first wooden 2-digital prototype of the stepped reckoner was ready soon, and in the end of 1672 and beginning of 1673, it was demonstrated to some of his colleagues at French Academy of Sciences, as well as to the Ministry of Finances, Jean-Baptiste Colbert.
1773, the first functional calculator was invented. The cylindrical calculating machines of the German person Philipp Matthias Hahn were the first fully functional popular four-species mechanical calculating machines. The first working copy of the device was ready in 1773, but was demonstrated as late as in 1778. Because Hahn has difficulties with the reliability of 10-square mechanism, Hahn needed quite some time to solve the problem with the 10-square mechanism. He complained several times for poor quality work of his mechanicians, but he managed to resolve it partly by changing the initial rectangular form of the machine with a circular. As the year 1820 came, the first produced mechanical calculator was made, the arithmometer invented by Charles Xavier. Thomas de Colmar was the first commercially successful calculating machine to complete all four basic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division according to IBM. The arithmometer mechanism has three parts, concerned with setting, counting, and recording respectively. Any number up to 999,999 may be set by moving the pointers to the numbers 0 to 9. The arithmometer was the only type of mechanical calculator commercialized from 1878 to 1887 worldwide and was still in use up to World War I. In 1954, the first all-transistor calculator was invented by IBM. The IBM 608 was the first calculating machine to use solid-state transistors instead of vacuum tubes. The machine was housed in several large cabinets. The IBM 608 calculator was the first completely transistorized computer available for commercial installation. The machine's main memory could store 49-digit numbers and could perform 4,500 additions per second. Among other operations, the machine could compute 9,300 checks per hour. By the year 1961, the first all-electronic desktop calculator was manufactured by Bell Punch Company. The acronym ANITA or ANITA was intended only for internal use during the development of the machine. But the name was so ingrained by the time the calculator was ready for production that the company stuck with it. The acronym has been said to stand for a new inspiration to accounting or a new inspiration to arithmetic. But rumor has been said that it's also the name of the designer's wife. The machine featured approximately 170 cold cathode vacuum tubes, a decatron decade counter tube, and numerator display or indicator tubes. This prototype handheld electronic calculator was built in the Semiconductor Research and Development Laboratory at Texas Instruments in Dallas, Texas, by a team led by Jack Kilby, co-inventor of the integrated circuit. Caltech is an arithmetic calculator with algebraic logic. It has 4 functions, 18 keys, and a printer. The 45-ounce calculator featured a small keyboard with 18 keys and a visual output that displayed up to 12 decimal digits. Caltech was the code name used for the device during its development, which was released commercially in 1970.
The Busicom LE120A, known as the Handy, is the first handheld calculator to use a calculator on a chip integrated circuit. The calculator featured a 12-digit display in red LED and cost $395 when it first went on sale on January 1971. Busicom Corporation of Japan was a very innovative company and introduced the first handheld calculators that were small enough to really be described as pocket-sized. This model revealed that a truly pocket-sized calculator could be achieved. HP introduced a pocket calculator that was programmable with a magnetic card reader writer. The HP Journal introduced it as a personal computer long before that term had become common. It featured 9 storage registers and room for 100 keystroke instructions. It also included a magnetic card reader writer to save and load programs. The HP65 was the first HP calculator with base conversions. It was also the first to directly perform degrees, minutes, seconds, and arithmetic. The calculator cost $795 when it launched in 1974. In 1975, during the first joint US-Soviet spaceflight, it became the first handheld calculator in outer space. In 1985, Casio FX7000G was the first graphing calculator developed, one of the several programmable calculators which were introduced in the early 80s. With 422 bytes of memory and could store up to 10 programs in 10 program slots. It offered 82 scientific functions, and its display could toggle between 8 lines of 16 characters each, or a 64 by 96 dot matrix graphical display. The calculator can display either built-in graphs that are already programmed or display a user-defined graph. The user also has the option to rewrite any of the previously programmed graphs. By the year 2003, the first graphing calculator with touch functionality was released. The EL9650 had a slideshow functionality that allowed teachers to walk through pre-programmed lessons and formulas on the calculator. It has 801 functions. Also, it has up to 99 program modes and 32 KB RAM memory. In 2010, the first color graphing calculator was developed. While the world of mobile devices quickly moved to full color screens in early 2000s, it took a while for graphing calculators to catch up. Casio Prism Calculator, with its advanced 216 by 384 resolution, full color display. Casio Prism is a color graphing calculator with high-resolution LCD display, natural textbook display, picture plot technology or real-life images, 3D graphing capability, and built-in conic sections. This is an all-purpose calculator designed for students from beginning algebra through calculus and beyond.
Since then, calculators became a part of our daily lives. Because of the calculators back then, we have now the modern calculators which are innovated and developed according to the needs of the people.